So we're going to start off with about 4 pounds of russet potatoes. We will then cut them about the size if you were going to boil potatoes or mash them. Make sure they're all roughly the same size and shape. Then we'll have 2 regular size onions, and we'll cut those into chopped onions. I mean, I can't describe it much better than that, right? And then we'll take I got about 12 slices of bacon here, and we're going to slice it up into little bite-sized pieces for rendering and garnish, and then we'll go from there. Gamers and grillers, welcome back to the pot cam. We're just letting the old pot get nice and heated up for us here. There's a dishwasher in the background, as we can all hear, so depending on how loud that is on edit, we might be doing some voiceover work here, so that is what it is. As we get started, we're going to start with all that lovely bacon we had earlier. So fresh cracked pepper on it. As Emerald used to say, I don't know where you get your bacon, but mine does not come pre-seasoned. Now, no need for any salt action in there, because Porky was carrying plenty enough into this fight for us. And we're just going to get that nice and somewhat crispy. This bacon's going to end up being our garnish later. But it's also going to be a nice little brown residue, oily residue that we use to get the party started with our onions and garlic before we add our potatoes. So. But that's what we do here. We get started and we build flavors. Layer after layer, flavor after flavor. That's what you want to keep doing, is just building one right on top of the other and let them all come together for a really, really wonderful outcome. So I'm going to say stick with us, even though if I edit this properly, you won't even know I'm gone. Alright, gamers and grillers, we're back now. You see the bacon start to render out a little bit. We've got some nice crispy bacon here, and as promised, delicious brown sticky goodness on the bottom of the pan, ready to cook in with the rest of our goodies. We're going to get all this bacon out of here first, because as I said earlier, it's really more of a garnish than anything else. Don't worry, I'll garnish the hell out of it. Now, once we get all this out of here, we don't need all of this bacon grease here to do what we're going to do. So we're going to scoop some of that out of here as soon as I get all these delicious little bacony tidbits out of here. And just so you know, like behind the scenes, as I mentioned before, this is for garnish. I will be eating a lot of this bacon off camera and in the subtle moments between when you do see me and when you don't. So that is why I make more than the recommended amount, because as I said before, I will be eating this stuff. They're waiting on this now. Fun part, lots of noise. Onions, throwing those onions. Let those get all going in there. You didn't see it earlier, but yes, we chopped up some garlic. That didn't make it into the editing, or through the editing, I should say. Actually, we didn't even film it. We forgot. So, sorry about that, gamers and grillers. And then we're just going to sweat these down and let them soften up a couple, 2-3 minutes. Let it break loose. See, it's already starting to break loose that stuff down there on the bottom. Eventually, we're going to get all that stuff off there and in with our goodies. So, yeah, give me a minute. Let's let this sweat for a bit, and then we'll be right back. Okay, guys, we're back. As you can see, our onions and our garlic are nice and soft, fairly translucent. Got a good bit of our brown goodness from the bacon up off the bottom of the pot. So next we're going to add a little bit of flour, a little salt, a little pepper. And just kind of work that in there. You want to go ahead and try to start getting those lumps out now. But we're going to add some liquids here in a little bit to
help get that the rest of the way out of there. Basically, we just want to get it incorporated in here. We'll cook down a little bit with that onion and that garlic. Kind of get that raw flour flavor out of there. Just let it get happy with the rest of our goodness. You want to kind of keep moving it. Last thing you want to do is let that flour clump up and start to burn. You will notice that taste later. I do not know how to fix that. There's a couple different burnt flavors I do know how to fix. That is not one of them. Again, we do not claim to be perfect here, the Good Old Boy Scrambler channel. We just claim to be on it. After that, a couple cups of chicken broth. And now's when you want to check and make sure no little flour lumpies. We're all good, no flour lumpies. Good to go. That's 4 cups, by the way, 4 cups chicken broth. And now we'll just kind of let that happy up a little bit. We are going to put in our next ingredient is 1 cup of heavy cream. There we go. All right, can't go wrong. And then just get that nice and worked in there. All part of the same family. Good, there you go. Checking for those lumps again, making sure we are lump free. Look like they're pretty smooth and consistent. We'll come back to our potatoes that have been waiting so patiently to come be the stars of this dish. And there we go, man. Let those get nice and covered up. We're gonna let those go for a little bit, probably about 10-15 minutes. You wanna bring them back up. You wanna bring all this stuff back up to a boil. And you're gonna let it go about 10-15 minutes, and then we're gonna come back stirring to keep everything off the bottom occasionally. But we're gonna go off into the editing room and just act like this 10-15 minutes never happened. So we'll see y'all when we see you. Welcome back, gamers and grillers. We're not quite ready to progress forward just yet, but just wanted you to see what we've got going on. This is the natural progression of things. Your soup's going to start to thicken up, and I know it looks paltry, but rest assured, once we start mashing up some of these taters and really getting the food processor out after it, we're going to have a nice, thick, hearty soup here. Very, very much time for wintertime. And yeah, I know it's Texas, and yeah, I know we don't really do winter, but as close as we're going to get, so that's when I break out the soups and the stews. Sorry about the fog there, guys. We are working on a limited budget here, and that's okay too. So yeah, we're starting to get these little spuddies softened up, so check back in a minute, we'll let you know. Thank you. Okay, gamers and grillers, here's where we come to a crossroads in many people's mind. Now, traditional says you just take your masher and you mash it through here, and it's really gonna thicken up your base, and it's gonna leave you a chunky, kind of a more thick and hearty, more of a potato stew kind of a consistency. So where I differ here is I go ahead and get the old electric food processor out, and I really go ahead and break it down. But before we do that, we are going to add some goodness to it. We're going to add call it a cup or so sour cream, and a couple cups of cheese, just to kind of melt down in there with it. And we're going to kind of stir all that through real quick. And just because we're going to get the stirring action going, we're going to put a little bit more chicken stock in there to kind of get that a little bit more loosened up. By now I've cut the fire completely off because the stored heat in the pot and on the stovetop will get us going to where we can melt this stuff down without having to worry about it continuing to get hotter and hotter. So we just want to mix that in real good, and then once it gets nice and melted up, I mean, surely you can see already where our consistency's changed. Whoopsie. Soup overboard there. No worries. And you can see I left some pretty wholesale chunks in there for now, because as I said, I don't go for the potato masher. I don't go for mine to be like super chunky. I like mine to be nice and smooth and rich and creamy. Smooth and rich and creamy. So I get a little handheld food processor here. And if you don't have one of these yet, and you like to mess around in the kitchen and you want just a great kitchen tool, here it is. It'll change your soup cooking life. Mashed potatoes are a breeze. Nice, smooth, even consistency, super creamy. No sore forearms. I mean, product sells itself. So that's what I'll do here now, is just kind of go ahead and get this down to the smooth, creamy consistency that you like it. I may already be past what you like, and that's okay too. I'm making this for me, and that's about the consistency I like, not the consistency. Now I am going to add a little bit more chicken stock to this, because she is thickening it up a little bit, but that's about that's where it is for me anyway, is right there. Like I said, that handheld food processor, you can't go wrong. So yeah, that for me, again, you're making your soup, you make it how you want to soup it, but for me, that creamy richness right there is really what I'm going for. It may not even need any more chicken stock. I think, again, it's your stew, or your soup, sorry. You take it where you want to take it. And if you got some real big chunks in there, I'd say definitely, just be careful, because it's just not something you want. Even if you want a chunky soup and you want some chunks of potato in there, you don't want like a whole tuber or anything. So, you don't want a whole tuber or anything. So there we go. That'll just stay warm until we're ready to eat, because again, I may mash it a little bit more. But who knows? We'll see. We'll be back in a little bit. We'll show you how we bowl it up. All right, gamers and grillers, that is our finished product right there. Can go by itself, but we're doing grilled cheese sandwiches with ours, so enjoy. And let me know what you think. Like, share, and follow. Check us out next weekend, going for brisket and pork belly. Thanks a lot. Have a good one.